welcome to Culture on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober. Thank you for joining me. Today on our show, we'll talk to Orna Akad about Israeli fringe theater. We'll hear about the movie Son of Saul. And we'll ask, can South Park still surprise viewers in its 19th season? The Golden Hedgehog, or Kipod HaZahav, is Israel's Fringe Theater Award. One of the judges of the competition this year is an author, director, and playwright, Orna Akad, who's also here in the studio. Thanks for coming in, Orna. So, my first question, what counts as fringe? What defines fringe?
Any performance is not belong to the repertoire theater, one of the repertoire theaters, and plays in the fringe theaters. That's really.
It's not a very clear definition.
No,
there's a lot of room for play there.
Yes, there is a lot. There is a lot of rooms to play there, but that's the definition, the big definition, the macro.
Now, next week is going to be a big week for Israeli Fringe. What are we talking about? What's going to take place?
We call it the Night Fringe. We have performances like all the nights, performances of from all the French theaters, and the main celebration is the awards, the ceremony of awards prize.
Right, which will come at the end of that week.
Yes, on Friday at the Teatron Nozar, which is one of the French playhouses.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, leading up to that, you, as one of the judges, as we said, you had to watch a lot of Fringe theater in recent months.
Yes, about 54 performances.
54 performances.
More or less.
All
yes,
right. How's your grip on reality?
Well, it is a good.
It wasn't that good to begin with, you're saying.
Well, it's a good escapism. Yeah. But in a way, you know, you just it's a work, you know.
Everybody has to have one.
Yeah.
What can you tell us, if there is such a thing in Fringe? What are the current trends in Fringe? Or when it comes to Fringe, everybody does something else and there is no such thing?
There is 54 plays were nominated or, you know, were participating in the prize. It means that there are a lot of more performances, Fringe performances, which means that people, some of them would like to play in a very well done play, like the chair theater, you know, the armchair theater, something very well done play, and some experimentals, and you know, all these old Fringe gvardias that it's been doing Fringe for many years. Yeah. Like in Shlomi Theater, there is Neta Plotsky. She's been doing Fringe forever.
Right. Yeah. In general, what do you see more? Do you see Fringe as a room for creators to push the envelope, to try something new that they wouldn't be able to do in mainstream theater? Or is it more of a stepping stone for young, up-and-coming creators on their way to the mainstream?
Unfortunately, a lot of the French performances are with a view or with a see the step of playing in repertoire, see the stage of being actors or creators in the mainstream theater. Of course, there are many, especially in the periphery, like in what we see here. I think it's Kriyat Shmona, the Ma'at Theater. That's a good example for Fringe, really experimental. So you can see in the peripheries a lot of experimentals. Maybe people have the time and the energy, and they go and live in Kriyat Shmona or in Shlomi or in Beersheba or in Dimona, and they dedicate their lives to doing Fringe theater.
Without necessarily aiming to get to Habima or somewhere else.
Yeah.
How connected is fringe theater to the place that it comes from?
Some of it connected. I think they have worked part-time as teachers in the community. I think that's one of the criteria of being of playing in this theater or participating in this theater. That's I think in Shlomi, for example, there are a lot of people who are not professional actors, or coming from coming from Shlomi, and they have workshops, and they train to be an actors as in the performances there.
When I think about current events in Israel, about a little bit about the political issues that are in the country, that definitely exist, that even touched on the world of theater not long ago, theater that you're well acquainted with.
Yes.
Does that come in? Do we see any reference to that in the theater?
Unfortunately, there are a lot of escapism and ignoring completely the political situation. There are 1, 2, I can count on my one hand, 2 hands, 10 fingers of something connected to the political situation. There are not any Arab plays, Palestinian plays are not participating in this award. And, there is only one play that I can see that I can tell that there are Arab actors in it. One in the Israeli Arab.
Why do you think that is? I mean, is it they weren't invited to participate, or they prefer not to take part?
I don't think intentionally they weren't invited, but to take an Arab plays of Arab fringe, you have to ask, you have to reach, you have to, you have to be like a lover, to go and try, bring flowers, invite. To make them feel welcome. And I think if a Nazareth, the fringe theater, will ask to participate in the award, I don't think that somebody will say no, you don't because you're an Arab. But I think there is a kind
It's not obvious that they will partake.
Yes, it's not obvious.
Yeah. Well, Orna, you're in a position to bring that change on. I hope you will. Maybe next year things will look different.
Yeah.
Either way, thanks for coming in and talking to us about this.
Thank you.
All right. A few weeks ahead of its U.S. release, the first film by Laszlo Nemes, son of Saul, is doing the rounds in festivals around the world. Solal Azerwal tells us more about this film.
Laszlo Nemes, winner of the Grand Prix jury for his drama set in a Nazi concentration camp. For his debut feature film, the Hungarian director offers an immersion in the Sonderkommando, forced to aid with the disposal of gas chamber victims during the Holocaust. Unique for dealing with this highly sensitive subject, the son of Saul follows Auslander, a Hungarian Jew deported to the camps and forced to work in the gas chambers, burning the corpses in the crematorium. But one day, Saul thinks he recognized the body of his son. He then goes in search of a rabbi to get a dignified burial for the little boy. To tell the unspeakable and understand the inexpressible of this indescribable horror show, the director had to research below the surface of the concentration camps.
Well, I have the feeling that the Holocaust has never been really understood in a visceral way. It was approached in an intellectual manner, but never in a way to communicate what a person, an individual, was experiencing in the middle of the process, in the middle of the camp, how limited an individual was in the middle of the camp.
Eagerly awaited by the general public, The Son of Saul is a success. Wherever the film has screened, it has left audiences in shock. Claude Lanzmann, the film director of Shoah, praised the work for its originality by presenting it as an anti-Schindler's List. Since its release in Hungary on June of 2015, The Son of Saul received awards at the Cannes Film Festival and Sarajevo, and has received nominations from the London Film Festival, Hamburg, Stockholm, and was also screened at the Toronto Film Festival and New York. A success which the young film director did not expect.
It's been incredibly intense, and for the film, a great chance to travel and to be projected in many places. So yeah, it's been rather incredible.
The success is also owed to the unique format of this feature, which enables spectators to see through the eyes of the main character. Fully focused on Saul as the leading character, the film was shot on 35mm film to offer the viewer an immersive and emotional experience.
Je me suis posé la question ce que c'était.
I wondered about the impression that the Jews had when they arrived at the camp in Birkenau, what we saw and what were the last hours like. Behind my project, there was a force that drove me to make the film.
For his first feature film, the 38-year-old director brought out the best of his available resources. Its star, Geza Rorik, is not an actor, but a writer and a teacher. For the film, Laszlo Nemes drew on his personal history. Part of his Jewish family from Ukraine were deported and murdered in Auschwitz.
In a moment, we'll hear what South Park is up to this year, but first, here's our cultural recommendation for today.
Astonish Me is a unique exhibition that illustrates Philippe Hausmann's constant search for photographic possibilities and impossibilities. His working process is illustrated through a large selection of vintage prints. Hausmann worked for fashion magazines, including Vogue and Life, and rapidly developed to become an envied portraitist who managed to photograph many famous figures such as Marilyn Monroe, Albert Einstein, Alfred Hitchcock, Andy Warhol, Duke Ellington, Richard Nixon, the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, André Malraux, and Jean Cocteau. His search for new photographic perspectives and his love of the surreal enabled him to create a wholly unique photographic style and develop the idea of jump photography.
I'm always happy to have Yaron Tenbrink in the studio, and today is no exception, especially since we're going to be talking about...
I'm going to surprise you. Well, not surprise you because we talked about it before getting in the studio, so you know. Maybe the viewers, because we're going to talk about...
I already promised them that
every week we're talking about like the best TV around, and this week we're going to talk about a small little show. You might have heard about it. It's South Park.
Yeah, it's like it just got on, right?
Just got on.
It's like a brand new show.
Brand new show from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
This is we're at season 19, of course.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. I was actually going like, is that thing still on? No, actually, I've been watching it in the last.
You know, you think about
also
the
during
Simpsons,
the last few seasons.
That the Simpsons, like I think season 27.
Yeah.
And that really feels like it's been on forever.
Yeah. But South
Park doesn't have that same feeling.
Because South Park is very fresh. And this season it just became even fresher. They did something amazing. They actually reinvented the series. There are just 10 episodes this season.
Usually it's like closer to 20.
Yeah, and this year they're all arced. It means they have a single plot, basically. Like there are stories that begin and end in one episode, but there is an ongoing arc.
There's a murder mystery? It's going to be Who Killed Kenny?
The town has become politically correct. A new principal came to school. His name is Principal PC.
Okay.
And he has this army of bullies who just beat the crap out anyone who talks anything that's not politically
PC.
correct.
And the whole being town, South Park, there are a lot of those.
Yeah. The whole town becomes suffers from severe gentrification with all kind of hipster cafes, and the whole show basically became about politically correctness and the place South Park has in this world, which is overtly politically correct, which is
Right.
like an amazing
And it does serve a very important role. And now I'm not kidding. I mean, South Park really
of course, but
points the finger.
it's also asking itself, do I still have a place in this world where you can't make a joke and not be like shamed on the internet, and like humor is under attack by politically correctness? Everybody's talking
I hope
about
they
it.
just don't get to the conclusion that by the end of the season there is no place for
I
South
hope
Park
not.
and shut
I
it
hope
down.
not, because they really prove season over season that they're very to the point. They're sharp. They have critique of liberals, conservatives. Everybody is at the tip of their sword.
Kenny still dies during
Kenny
each
gets like a whole mall built on his
his house?
Yeah, and he's still, you know.
Poor Kenny. Those
Poor
bastards.
Kenny. Yeah.
Thanks, Hill.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching us. We'll be here tomorrow as well, of course. Till then, check out our website, i24news.tv, and I'll see you all again tomorrow. Bye-bye.